Okay, it's go time. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday morning. Welcome to our Monday morning coffee talk show. We're very happy to have all of you watching this morning and catching up with us as well. And we've got a wonderful, wonderful show for you. I'm very excited about our guest. We have Sarah Hewitt here from Mott and Chase Sotheby's International Realty. Sarah, good morning and welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Oh, good morning, Melanie. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, what a beautiful Monday this is. Kind of a crazy one in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. I will tell you that we woke up to about 7 inches of snow this morning. Yes, and it is April, the end of April, as a matter of fact. But what a beautiful, fluffy snow this morning. And I know that it will be the spring snow. It will melt soon. And everyone, welcome. Please let us know where you're coming from today. And what are you grateful for on this beautiful Monday morning? And Sarah, you are one of my big gratitudes. I have to share that with you. It has just been such an honor and a privilege to create a friendship with you and finally get to know you. I felt like I knew you for several years just through social media before we finally had the opportunity to meet at our installation on Cape Cod, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, with Greg Kiley and just an incredible team. And Judy Mott was there with us, along with other members of your team and Jenny. So just so grateful for that. You know, another gratitude that I have this morning is the recharge and how important it is to do the reset. I know that many of you know that we just had our installation a couple weeks ago on Maui, and it was what an experience to be with that team and just the Hawaiian love and the ohana. That was a really special experience to be with them. On top of that, having my son and my husband and my mother-in-law, we were able to bring her with us, and we just had such a great time and stayed an extra week. So I'm feeling very refreshed and recharged. But let's talk about you, Sarah. What are you grateful for on this beautiful Monday morning?
Well, I'm grateful to be here chatting with you. That is for sure. I woke up with an extra large smile this morning, knowing that you and I would be spending time together. I'm grateful for all the amazing connections I have with the Sotheby's agents. I hear from them daily, and it means a lot to me. I got phone calls yesterday from agents from all over. So I'm really grateful for those relationships. I'm grateful to be doing what I love to do. And there's something to be said for that when you wake up excited, even on a Monday morning. I remember as a teacher, Sunday night, you'd kind of feel like this darkness come over because you were facing Monday. But I wake up excited, and I couldn't ask for anything more than that. So, but really just grateful to be part of what you give to all of us and to just soak it up like a sponge. So thank you to you.
Oh, my pleasure. And truly it is, the reward comes back in spades, just by getting to meet so many incredible, amazing people. Sarah, let's go into talking about you. We've got a great conversation to have today. I'm really looking forward to this. Tell us about your market when, with Mott and Chase Sotheby's International Realty, and you're in Rhode Island, but tell us a little bit more about that. Give us a little bit of the lowdown on your area and what's happening.
Yeah, so it's born and raised in Rhode Island, and I work out of the Providence office. I live in Barrington, and my market is pretty much based out in Providence, outside of Providence. I do work all over the state, having lived in much of it. But our market, like everywhere, continues to be very escalated. It's very low inventory, very high prices still, but sales are slowing down a little bit. And I think, I was making 3 offers this weekend on behalf of buyers. It's still super competitive for buyers, but the lines were shorter. at the doors. Homes are sitting a little bit longer, price cuts a little bit, we're noticing. So I do think it's assuaging a little bit,
So
which
you are
personally,
feeling an ever so slight shift in the
yes,
market right now. Okay, that's
yeah.
really interesting and important for all of us to be following and really to be aware of in your own markets as well.
Yeah, and I think mortgage rates are having an impact. So I don't think the inventory problem is going to be improved, but I do think the demand might lessen a bit, and so that will moderate prices a little bit.
Yeah, we're feeling just a little bit of a shift. I can share with you just from talking with other agents from across the country in Hawaii and up into Canada. Some are still hot, hot, hot. Not to say that your market is not still super strong, but just that
Yeah.
slight shift. We all need
Yes.
to be aware of that, and we need to be watching that very closely, and keep having those conversations around that. Well, what a beautiful, beautiful area to grow up in, and to be able to
Mhm.
be, near the water, and just to be
Mhm.
able to have all of the beauty of your seasons that you have there in Rhode Island. And I'm really looking forward to joining you. I'm actually going to be there this summer, and we're going to be doing our installation. I believe it's July 12th through the 15th, Providence,
Yes.
Rhode Island. So if any of you want to come join in one of the most beautiful times of year, registration, I believe, is already open and on the Ninja Selling website. So really looking forward to coming and joining you and the team there as well. So
Yeah, that'll
uh,
be great.
excited. Yeah, everything
Yes.
is booked, flights, everything. So really
Awesome.
looking forward to that one. Well, okay. So Sarah, I want to talk to you about just some of the most amazing, extraordinary traits that you have and what you exude on a day-to-day basis. Something that I think really drew me to you really early on as we became friends on Facebook, and really started to develop a friendship, and just to see a very strong sense of very authentic, positive, natural vibe, that you exude on a daily basis. And it's not one of those that you look through, when I'm, really, I knew that you were as authentic as you were, even before I met you. And then as soon as I met you, it was just like, yes, that's my Sarah. I know her. Where did this come from? I want to hear about the discipline. Tell us about a little bit about your mom, your upbringing, and where did you start to really learn this trait as
Yeah,
you
I
walk through
I
life?
I learned it at an early age. My mom is a tennis pro, so amazing athlete with a very strong woman with great grace, I might add. But she taught me the power of drive, determination, and and I do think innately I had that as well. But growing up as a competitive tennis player with a mom who was very accomplished and was still competing at some levels, that honed my grit and work ethic at an early age. I would always, it was always doing one extra thing. So if I finished tennis practice, I would always do wind sprints. And that carried over to how I was as a student, where I would, write note cards and then I would record them into a tape recorder. So I've always had that tendency to work hard, and it helped me as an athlete, and it even through college, and then it helps more professionally because that's what I've had and nurtured since a young age, was always reaching for that next level, forming a game plan, and being very strategic, and documented with kind of how I would hit that next goal. So that was part of my DNA, lucky for me, and it's always felt natural to me. Even when I first dove into real estate, I was very disciplined with how I was going to learn as much as I can about it, and then fine tune my skills as I got to experience it out in the field. but yeah, a lot of that was my upbringing, and that grit and determination and resolve has helped me big time health wise. So I'm
Yeah, I
very,
wanted to ask you about that a little bit as well, because I've really been following your story around the health. And kudos to your mama first, your
yeah.
parents, and just the way that she was really able to help you dig deep, just
Mhm.
really in that focus with you were able to apply that not only with athletics, but into it sounds like academically as well.
Yes,
Just really just with structure. Would you call it, was it a good structure lesson and discipline?
definitely. Yeah, I grew up in a structured household, and it taught in me great work skills, study skills, life skills.
Yeah.
And my boys have witnessed that through me, and they've inherited them as well. And it's so fun to see them, different applications with how they each internalize it. But that was, how I was raised. And it's how I operate. That's my MO. And it's great for real estate. And it also helps when, you hit those hurdles.
Yes.
For me, it's been health wise. For others, it's relationship wise, So
Yeah.
to have that to lean back on it helps you cope and not survive, but thrive. That's what I like to think of.
That's that is almost the theme, of
Yeah.
really what I believe that we're going to be talking a lot about today. You should have seen the way your eyes lit up, just the way when you say my boys. How old are
Yeah.
your boys right now? Just and we'll come back to them in a little
Yeah.
bit. But
So
how old are they?
Connor's 17 and Thomas is 19. So I've got a sophomore and a senior. So Thomas, he's finishing up at prep school, and his younger brother is right behind him. So
Wow. Well, good job, Mama. I'm
yeah.
looking forward to hearing a little bit more about them as well. You mentioned your health, and you
Yeah.
mentioned that this has this discipline and this grit and this focus has really helped you overcome some pretty significant health issues. Can you kind of walk us through that path and what you've been
Yeah.
experiencing over the past several years?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been 30 years, believe it or not, that I've been battling, and most of mine are esophagus based. I've got 5 different diseases in my esophagus, and then I've got about 5 autoimmune diseases. And within that, I've had series of significant surgeries, one that was so significant that my family all gathered in the cathedral in Providence. I'll never forget when I was going under the knife at Mass General, a very risky esophageal surgery. No one in Rhode Island would do it, but the Red Sox surgeon would do it. And those are the big hurdles that you overcome. And then I've had just constant surgeries, series of skin cancer surgeries. And my boys have witnessed me physically going through serious challenges and then recovering from them.
How many of those skin cancer surgeries have you had? I know that you had
I've had
mentioned that you had.
45. So I have a very suppressed autoimmune system. So anything that's precancerous for me becomes cancer. So I've gone through treatments to try to kill the cancer before they surface, which aren't comfortable. And my boys have seen me go through those. My friends have seen me go through several where physically you can see all the cancers appearing. I've gone through several rounds of that. The worst, have been the big surgeries, like on my lips. I've had 5 lip surgeries and an eyelid. But so it's the physical toil of it that's been tough. And that's when you dig deep to find that strength within. And with that, forced resiliency comes incredible gratitude. And that a friend gave me a bracelet that says, you were given this life because you're strong enough to live it. And I wear it every day. And I believe it because I'm always aware of my battle. I go in every 6 months and they inject my esophagus so that I can keep swallowing, because I have a disease that it makes, it's called inability to swallow. So I'm always aware daily of my challenges. And, that makes me just, constantly cognizant of how lucky I am to be here. The most recent hurdle and the toughest one of all was in December. I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. And while I knew I was always at risk, I going in every 6 months for Botox to keep me swallowing, they would always check, but I had never had that diagnosis before. And that's been my hardest ever challenge to date. We didn't tell my boys because they were at school. And I said to my husband, I'm not telling them until I have a game plan. And he was completely behind me. So I met with surgeons, we got a game plan in place. And that's when I told them. And that to me was the hardest thing that I've had to do, because I knew that, they immediately be Googling esophageal cancer, and it's not a good one. But I had, we had a plan in place. I have amazing doctors, and I did get it taken out. We had series of setbacks during the surgery,
And that was
and
January of this year.
yeah, January 7th. And I had surgery January 7th. And I remember I woke up and I had 5 heads on top of me looking down, and they said, thank God she's awake. And I remember thinking, okay, something happened that shouldn't have. So it was a very challenging time. I ended up hemorrhaging 3 times, and they had to put clips in my esophagus. And because they decided to intubate me, they removed the entire lining of my esophagus. It was all shredded. So needless to say, recovery was the hardest thing I've ever been through. And as I shared with you, Melanie, I remember sitting in a chair January 12th, and I looked at my husband and I said, I want to die. And, that for me was the lowest I've ever been. And thank God my boys weren't here. My dear friends up at their prep school, I sent them to friends, and I said, I know this is going to be a little bit of a hurdle for me to overcome the surgery. So they weren't here. They didn't see how bad I was. But when you get to that point and you get out of it, I said to John, if I get out of this, his eyes were teary eyed. I said, I will never look at things the same again. And it's the truth. So that for me, it's been 30 years of just a constant barrage of challenges, unforeseen, just, like in real estate, you go in expecting A and you get B.
Yeah.
When you're constantly given those challenges, you develop a foundation that is solid as concrete comes. And truthfully, I feel like now, you can give me anything and I'm going to beat it, because, it's been 3 decades of beating stuff. And there's no reason medically why I should still be here. And my doctors will tell me, I'm an enigma. They've never seen anything like this before. I'm constantly teaching them things, but there's a reason for that. And the reason is so that I can help people. I believe it with every ounce of my being. And how I do that is it's my why, and how I apply it is truly ninja-esque, in that they become my complete focus, their dreams, their desires, their needs. And that is everything from connecting with them constantly, supporting them, invoking trust with them. And
I just have to stop you 1 second with just that transition from, you just dug really deep with us right there. And then, but then that strength came right back. And I just
Yeah.
really wanted to honor that moment right there. Just how, I mean, obviously, when you go through something that is that low of a point,
Mhm.
and then you rise from that, and you did, it was almost as if you stood a little bit taller as you
Yeah.
shared that story. And I just wanted to take a moment to make sure that we're all feeling that type of a strength, because that is something that, like you said, not a lot of people have been there. And when you wake
Mm.
up in the morning to have that gratitude of, I woke up today,
Yes.
and I'm so grateful to be here. That's something that I talk about a lot, in the ninja installation. But for you, knowing that you've been to that moment and had
Mm.
the strength challenges, and the health challenges that you've had, it means something even deeper. And I want us
Mm.
all to really just appreciate that moment, that when, we do every single day, we do our gratitudes, we wake up in the morning, we do need to be so grateful that we are here. and
Mm.
and can I just share with you that we are also grateful to have you, and expect to
Ah.
have you for a very, very long, long time, because there, like you said, you have defied so many different odds with your doctors and the challenges that you have been through. Sarah, I don't know if you quite understand what a walking angel you are on this earth, and what an inspiration that is, for all of us that get to know you, that are meeting you here for the first time today. And just that inner vibe and love and energy that you exude every single day. And you are such a giver, and you give so much. I hope you take time to receive,
Oh,
as
thank
well.
you. I do. I appreciate that. And I do feel it. I'm blessed. I love where I work. I love my office was amazing during that
Tell us
challenging
about
time.
that. Tell us about how that was
Yeah, and I didn't share it
world.
with
And
many. I shared it with a few dear friends from growing up and college, and then a few dear ninja friends that I met on the Cape. And then I did share it with my office, that the heads at my office, and they blew me away. Ray Mott and Judy Chase, they are angels. And Ben Scungio, everyone, Jenny, Andrea, everyone at my office was Mary Leahy. They were so supportive, and
so
I
many of
didn't.
the agents, and Greg
Oh, they.
Kylie, and just, yeah, so many different people. Yeah.
Oh,
Loving
yes.
them.
And I didn't share it with many because I was fearful for my boys. I didn't want my burden placed on them, and that was my biggest concern. So I told the few that I wanted to let know that, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm going to be
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
but the next 2 weeks might be a little bumpy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they blew me away. And folks at their prep school know, like I let their hockey coach know, and they were amazing. They kept a close eye on the boys. They were there knowing mom had cancer, and competing and in the classroom. So I'm grateful to that community too. But yeah, it for me, it always comes into how I truly feel like every day I get to pass go is a great day, like the
Mhm.
Monopoly game. And I get checked now. I'm getting checked every 3 months. And every day that I wake up and I'm feeling well, it's a day for me to serve people the way that truly fuels my fire and brings me the greatest joy. I did a year of service after I finished Brown, community service, and I've always had that love of serving others. I was able to do it as a teacher in Brookline, Mass. I loved that. And real estate has been, an ultimate conduit for helping people. And the ninja, I mean, I knew I would love the training, and I just sat there every day going, oh my gosh, like it was just so confirming of what I believed, and what is true to my being. So it's how I endeavor in real estate, and I don't know any other way of doing it. And my clients, that's how they see me. I had a client the other day say, Sarah, how and why do you do so much for us? And I said to her, because that's why I'm still here. And, it truly is my why. So, and the ninja tenets, the tenets of ninja of curating what you're doing according to their needs, responding to their needs, advocating, that's all comes from how I envision my purpose here anyhow.
Yes, well, I think that they feel it and they love it. And I know that you really have such a strong passion for each one of your clients and such a love for them to be able to help them. Tell us, about for us, we can have some challenges throughout the day, hiccups in deals. We can start to get really stressed out. We can start to think about, we don't have enough minutes in a day. How do I get over this? How do I, all of a sudden we let this anxiety come into our lives. And I think you have some strong advice for that, just given your history, the way that you have been raised with the discipline and the grit and the determination, what do you tell us, and when you experience it as well, because it's not like every single one of your transactions run smoothly and every single day. What is it that you would share with us to just kind of put us back into a place of being able to calm ourselves?
Yeah, for me, it always comes down to strategizing and dealing, not being focused on the outcome, but the journey. And some days the journey is rough, and with transactions, it's the constant, ebb and flow, or where everything's going great, and then boom, oh my gosh, this deal is going to fall apart. And I think being focused on the here and now, and being focused on what you're dealt with, and approaching it from, what can I do to help? How can I get us to yes? Or strategically breaking it down into doable chunks, leaning hard on the team around you for help. That's how I've always dealt with the news that I've been given health-wise. You don't get lost in the big picture, like, oh my God, what did they just tell me? It's all right. So what am I going to do today? What am I going to do right now? And that's what I do with real estate. When things go south, it's like, okay, let's assess where I am, and let's assess where they are, and then let's move forward. What can I do to get us 1 inch forward? I think so many of us are so quick to say, oh my God, how can I fix this? And sometimes it's not an immediate fix. It's a gradual movement, up the slide to get you to that next step, which will ideally get you to the closing or whatever you're focusing on. And luckily, I'm low key in general. I mean, my doctors joke, they'll say, do you really have a heartbeat? Because I really do have a very low heartbeat. And so, and I have a very high pain threshold, which helps. I went through 2 bone marrow biopsies, and I never will forget it. Dana-Farber, the doctor, saying, do you have nerve endings? And it was very painful, but you deal with it at the moment, you get through it. And whether it's pain or whether it's real estate, sometimes there's pain in real estate.
We'll get through it, right?
And yeah, you get through it. And keeping things, the grand scheme of things, when you've been through a lot, the other things, they don't equate to as much, not in importance, but in level of, stress or panic. I just don't panic much at all. And that helps my clients. And I surround myself of the same mindset. I've got great attorneys who are as cool as cucumbers. And things get really bad, they're going to be there to reassure, provide information, support my clients, and get us to the next step. And I tried to model that.
I feel that trust, and we just have to trust that we will get there, and you will get them
Yeah.
through that. But talk about being a step down transformer and really being able to, just guide them through it. You are that duck always, gliding on the water, but underneath, just paddling and paddling, paddling and fighting. Well, Sarah, let's talk about your boys. Let's just end with those special boys. Tell us about your two sons. You mentioned hockey, you mentioned their ages. Let's hear a little bit more about their plans, because that has definitely been an incredible, a strong pull for you, and the love of a mother for her boys. And,
Oh yeah, it's
certainly your husband's
fierce.
been a champion as well.
Yeah, I'm very lucky with all three. I'm lucky to have both boys. Again, years ago, my doctors didn't think I'd be able to have kids. I surprised them, and I had two healthy, twice, right? So I view them really as gifts. We're incredibly close, and I think having them seen what I've been through, it fosters a sympathy and empathy in them, which I know is going to serve them well. And I'm lucky to feel so close to them. They tell me everything, and they are my pride and joy. I'm a hockey mom, which is great, and I do think being a hockey mom helps me in real estate too, because I've had people say you're pretty feisty, and then they'll make the connection that I'm also a hockey mom. Yeah. So they bring me incredible joy. So Connor's a sophomore, and hockey player, and then Thomas is a senior. So he's my low key, life is good, easygoing guy, and he's looking forward. He's going to go to Villanova and pursue engineering, and still play hockey, which is fun. Wow. And then John, he's my big boy. He's my rock. He's truly, in sickness and in health, he didn't know what he was getting. I always remind him of that. I'll say,
your husband, yes.
Yeah. I'll say 1999, when you met me at that bar in Boston, you didn't know what you were getting. Right. Because God love him. He didn't. And he's my best friend. He's amazing. So yeah, my boys, my labs, they keep me centered, happy. So life is good,
Life is good. Yes, life is good. And I just I feel that so much. What an incredibly beautiful story you have had, and it is that you have shared with us today. But there's just so much more to come with you, Sarah. It is just exciting to be able to and what a blessing it is to be your friend, and to just have each one of us feel the love that you give and that you bring, and the joy to this world. And we're so grateful for that. I can't believe that we are already at our time today, but we've enjoyed every single minute of it. I'm going to try, after we say goodbye to you and everybody, I'm going to try to share that video that you shared with me. And if you could just tell us what we're about to watch.
Oh, that was the Learning to Fly?
Yes.
Yeah. Learning to Fly by Tom Petty. I love that song. It talks about how life keeps throwing you things, and you feel like you ain't got wings, and then somehow you get up, and you don't know exactly where you're flying to, where you're going to, but you're going to get there. And I listen to that song all the time, because we're all every day learning to fly, right?
No question about it. Everyone, make it a great week. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie. You're the best.
We're so grateful for you, and learning to fly.